Alright, Rebel, this is Goblin Rain with REL 5S, and this is probably the last recap until the end of the season, since it's week 12 of 13. So I had some of you pinging me on Discord to make sure I got to this. It's been a tick since I've done one of these. I think the last one was like week 7, so it's been a while. I apologize, I've been busy and just life gets crazy. I meant to do it, but never got around to it. So here we are, second to last week. And let's take a look at the leaderboard. So who has not played yet? We have Chaos Canadian and Stinger Security, who are Stinger Security is 2, 6, and 3, and Chaos Canadian. All right, so that doesn't have implications to the playoffs. So if we look at the leaderboard, White Walkers of Rebel have taken off. They're 9-0 and 3. They're on top of the leaderboard. Who do they play next week? They play Chaos Canadians. So they're up against the team at the bottom. So Chaos Canadians next week is your chance to play King Destroyer by beating the White Walkers. Not quite up with the White Walkers in the standings. So if the White Walkers lose, then Rock and Roll Rats and El Sad's Khemri, the Bony Boys. So Frost's Rock and Roll Rats and the Bony Boys have a chance at 7-3 and 2. If they go 8-3 and 2 and the White Walkers lose, who do the White Walkers lose to? Let's go back to week 1 and let's see. The White Walkers beat Stinger Security. White Walkers beat the New Oxalbodos. They lost to Rock and Roll Rats. Okay. They beat a Yaya. They lost to the Bony Boys. So if we look at this, both the second and third place teams have tiebreakers over the White Walkers. So, and who did they play? Let's get to week 13. Rock and Roll Rats play Talk Show Terror, and Bony Boys play Gur Patrol, who has come up from ramp up, I guess. So, who are Gur Boys? Where are they? Oh, they're Gur Patrol. So Necro. Okay. So both the Bony Boys and Rock and Roll Rats have a chance to take first if the White Walkers lose. So if the White Walkers of Rebel lose to the Chorfs next week, then Rock and Roll Rats, the Skaven team from Frost, and Bony Boys, Elsad's Khemri team, who I have loved. Every game of theirs that I've seen has been quite hilarious, and, well, not hilarious, but quite entertaining, and I have actually taken Khemri on in another of my leagues just to see how they play, and I am a terrible Khemri player, so even more respect to you, Mr. Elsad. But they have a chance. So if we go into the schedule, who won that when they played? Let's look for when Bony Boys played Rock and Roll Rats. Not Rock and Roll Rats. Bony Boys were not Rock and Roll Rats. Bony Boys versus not Rock and Roll Rats. Bony Boys. Nope. Come on, I know they have to have played. It's going into the last week and they're not playing each other. 9. Yeah, Rock versus them. Lacey and Tice versus I Feel Dodges. Man. Bony Boys. And Rock and Roll Rats. Nope. Was that this last week? Oh, and the Bony Boys took it. So, on this leaderboard, based on this week, based on the Bony Boys this week, if White Walkers lose and both the Rock and Roll Rats and Bony Boys win, the Bony Boys get through. If the White Walkers lose and the Rock and Roll Rats win and the Bony Boys don't win, the Rock and Roll Rats are through. If the White Walkers draw, then they're through. Because they're at 9 wins. This is the equivalent of 8 wins. This is almost the equivalent of 8 wins. If these guys draw, then they'll jump up here and also have a chance. But White Walkers, if Rock and Roll Rats and Bony Boys don't win, then White Walkers are in. If Rock and Roll Rats and Bony Boys lose, White Walkers are in. If White Walkers draw, they're in. Otherwise, there's a lot to be had up there. So Talk Show Terror is 6-5-1. So I feel they drew this week, so that's one of the 5. And Delicious Elves are 6-5-1. So those teams are up there. I don't know how many of these make it to the Contenders Cup or the Sippy Cup, as I've had it heard. I don't actually know, and I can't be bothered to check ReBBL right now to see. But this was pretty close going into like week 8. It was pretty close, and then White Walkers won, Talk Show Terror won, Bony Boys won. Who was the other one? It was Rock and Roll Rats drew. So very tight. Even at the end here, it's very tight to see who goes through. So let's go through and take a look at how these teams have developed. So White Walkers and the Rock and Roll Rats and Bony Boys, we're looking at playoff prospects, and everyone else, we're probably looking at how they're going to do next season. So let's start, since they're on top, with the White Walkers of ReBBL, 1530 undead. So that's a good amount of TV for undead. So this zombie's probably just an MNG. Yep, he'll be fine. He'll be back with his dirty playerness. So a Blodge Mummy, that should not be allowed. That's crazy. Guard Mummy, Mighty Blow, and a Mighty Blow Tackle White. So that's pretty balanced up there. No, none of them are jumping out. None of them are really falling behind. You have a Blodge Sure Hands and a Raj Ghoul. That's good. You have a Blodge Step Ghoul. Guard Ghoul. Now, from playing a lot of Underworld, I don't really like Guard on an edge or on a piece that's AV7 because it encourages you to base with him. And this isn't an Agi 4, so even with dodge, he's not dodging like crazy. He'll be better protected once he gets Blodge, but ghouls die so fast that maybe it doesn't matter anyway. Maybe he was always fated to just be murdered, and maybe he was going to stick around. I don't know. It's certainly useful with a little bit of mobility and speed on it, but I don't know how long I think it'll last. Block Dauntless is an interesting choice. Don't know the story behind it. Don't know how much use he gets out of it, but it's an interesting choice. Guard on a zombie is probably more likely to stand around than guard or stick around than guard on a ghoul. But this is a good team, a well-developed team. Got a bench. His dirty player's out, but he'll foul with whatever zombies around. So next up is Rock and Roll Rats. I think we're next in the standings. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is a little bit of a beaten up Skaven team. The Storm Vermin, I'd like to see a little more development, but they're hard to develop compared to the Gutter Runners. Is this an MNG or a Niggle? Just an MNG, so he'll be fine. So his star rat is out, but he still has a Blodge Step Tackle, a Wrestle Strip Ball, well, Raj Strip Ball, and he's got these two up here with Mighty Blow and Tackle Mighty Blow. So he's got some good rats. Safe throw and accurate on the thrower. I don't know. Safe throw kind of encourages you to throw over people, which isn't always good. But then he's got a fresh gutter runner. He's got a dirty player. So he'll be doing okay. He'll be bolstered a little bit by a bunch of journeymen, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he's actually like 1270 right now on 11 players. But 11 players with AV7 never really feels all that strong to me. And he is playing against Talk Show Terror. Okay. So first let's look up KS Canadians, since they're going to be playing the leader next week. Where are they? There they are. So 1160 Chorfs with a minnow. His minnow has guard. Good. So the thing I love about Chorf minnows is that everyone else seems to hate them, but if you put guard on them, you can try a throw block, and you can fail Wild Animal and still get guard. So I like that. He's got a couple players MNG, but he has yet to play his game this week, I believe. So this player will be back next week. This one may or may not be. Probably will still be around. But he's got Claw. He's got some good guard. If he gets 3 points on Garak Hothead going into next week. Right, so if I look, he still hasn't played this week. So if he gets 3 points on Garak and takes Mighty Blow, then it's possible for him to have a Claw Mighty Blow against Undead. Now, counting on removals against a regen team is not that high probability, but Claw Mighty Blow against a bunch of AV9 and AV8 could do things, or he could roll like my Underworld teams do, and that guy could roll in wearing his oven mitts and not do anything. Tickle fight. Interesting. So, Rock and Roll Rats were playing Talk Show Terror, which is, again, Talk Show Terror is right there in fourth. So Talk Show Terror is well poised to just spoil Rock and Roll Rats' spot. Just crush them. So where Talk Show Terror? 1540 Necro. That's a well-developed team. 2 Blodge Wolves, one of whom picked up Mighty Blow. That's what you want on a wolf. A Mighty Blow Tackle and a Guard Blodge White. I don't play Necro, but I was under the impression that you want Guard on both whites. He does have Guard on a Fleshy, and I don't know how all that was ordered. So, I don't know. It's hard to say that Tackle Mighty Blow is wrong for hunting elves. It's hard to fault that. But I was told that you kind of want Guard on both of them, so I don't know. But these are definitely good pieces, even if they're not what the internet would tell you to do. The internet says that Fleshies are hard to level. This one, having 0 SPP after this many games, probably says that something happened to his first one. Brawny Carson does not seem like the original name. Ellen Regenerous, I remember. So, that one's good. Got block and guard. That helps a lot on that front line, or on whatever line he's on. And then a Blodge Ghoul and a Dirty Player Zombie rounding it out. So he's got a good team. You know, it probably at some point he lost a Flesh Golem, and that sucks because they're so expensive and they take so long to level. But he seems to be doing all right other than that. And then Bony Boys. Let's take a look at the Bony Boys. My favorite ever Khemri team. Ooh, and they have a level pending. So 1340. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 players. So they've got a one-man bench. Guard, Mighty Blow, and a Block Tomb Guardian with another one, and another one about to level. So they'll have, hopefully this guy will pick up a skill next game and level, whether it's for the playoffs or for going into next season. Blitz Rods are coming along nicely. Tackle Mighty Blow and Mighty Blow. Dirty Player Skeleton, Wrestle Skeleton. I've heard that you do this for the nice safety guy. Move up, block, throw raw has got to be the dream, and the tackle throw raw. So he's going other blitz raw with this guy. So he's got a nicely developed team. You know, block allows you to actually throw a couple 2-dies with the Tomb Guardians. You don't have to worry so much and make everything a 3-die. It's still good to make it a 3-die with block, but you don't have to. And that's my only experience the couple games I played with Khemri is that the Tomb Guardians will eventually. Every game, you got enough Tomb Guardians, they'll fail a 2-die if you let them take 2-dies. The Guard Mighty Blow on this one feels nice to help back everyone else up and keep his skeleton buddy with him happy. The Mighty Blow for removals and the Dirty Player for removals are just par for the course for this. So that feels like a good amount of development for how many games they've managed to get in. And then they are playing Gur Patrol, which is another Necro team. So let's look them up. Gur Patrol. Ooh. Look at how much dodge he's got. Look at that. He's got 2 Blodge Whites, a dodged Flesh Golem. So he's playing the super long game here. This guy, he's at 10 out of 16, but he's not gonna be fast to get to 16 and pick up block. But then he will be much harder to knock down. That's a super long game there. And the team itself might perform better if he had guard on the whites, even though the whites will themselves probably perform better with Blodge. But it's also a very different, more, you know, with Blodge on the whites, I would almost pick up the second ghoul and go heavy in on the werewolves, the whites, and the ghouls just running around things with that much dodge and speed. I would almost pick up the next ghoul immediately as soon as you can afford it and just go heavy on the 6 players that can run around and be mobile, while your other guys kind of post up in the middle and you run around them. So again, I think that team would have performed better as a team if they'd picked up guard, but the players are certainly better on their own with what they have. Next up on the leaderboard, we have the Delicious Elves. So who are they playing? Delicious Elves are playing Mice Who Entice. Oh boy, that's going to be an interesting one. So, Delicious Elves, 12-10. A nice, healthy 8-man elf roster. That's not bad for a season of taking a beating. You know, he's got a move 9, strip ball, 1 turning, ward answer, who I think that means 2 pushes. Yeah, he needs 2 pushes to 1 turn, which is good. You know, he's got all these catchers, but only one of them's got block. He's got tackle on his other ward answer. He's got a Raj Lino, a kick guard, that's happy Lino, and then a Blodge Lino. So this is coming along nicely. You know, I don't know how long he's had his catchers, and it's not too hard to level them up. So like I wouldn't be surprised if after this next game, Udon Noodles and Lo Mein level up. You know, and I know he lost at some point. I think he lost a ward answer. So ReBBL is kind of a destruction fest with teams. So being down to this many elves is, I would say, not surprising. It does seem like he's saving for his positionals. Like maybe he wants another catcher or something, which is good. No reason to buy Linos when you've got developed Linos. You know, if you get more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's got 6 players with some kind of development on them. That's really too much to protect. You can only really protect 4 or 5 guys. So there's no problem relying on Linos. Honestly, he'd probably be best served saving for a tree to take some more hits and keep him from hemorrhaging players. And he's up against Mice Who Entice, a 1440 Skaven. Wow. Carrying some injuries, a strength 1, 1-turner. Who cares? He's a 1-turner. I mean, not quite. He needs a couple pushes. But he's got sure feet. He's got sprint. So he only needs 1 push, I think, because 3 and 9 is 12. Yeah, so 1 push. And then he's got the GFIs with rerolls. So he does his job fine. You just got to keep him off the pitch. Russell Strip, that's a good one. Block Strip, sure feet, that's a good one. Sucks the lineman got move busted, but he can still do his job fine. A fresh Storm Vermin with 5 SVP and a Claw Mighty Blow. So that's lucky of him to roll doubles that early. That he knows this is his killer, so this one can take like guard and grab and stuff and be a utility piece. Because Licto of Mordheim is going to be your killer now with those big old teeth. Still got the Rat Ogre, that's fine. I don't dislike big guys as much as a lot of people. I think if he plays around him, he'll be fine with that. Probably this is his 2nd Rat Ogre, maybe a 3rd. It's been too long for me to remember whether he's lost those pieces. But another Mighty Blow lineman, that's more Mighty Blows, good, and then a block lineman. So he's got some good pieces, but really he needs to keep Liget off the pitch. So those teams are both a little bit beat up. The Rats, by nature of their speed, have an advantage. I don't think either of these teams have any sure hands. Yeah, so no sure hands here. Where are Mice Who Entice? No sure hands here. So the strip ball and wrestle will do things for both of these teams. But both of these teams can score in like 1 turn once they get the ball. So I would expect this to either be a snooze fest, where they just sit back and wait and try and score the last second, and then battle 1-turners back and forth, or a battle of 1 and 2-turn scores. So it's either going to be a nail biter or a snooze fest. Ayaya and Stinger Security. So where is Stinger Security? Well, let's start with Ayaya because I can see them there. Yes, he's got to move up Goblin. I might have taken Armor, actually, and thrown him on the line of scrimmage. And I know that a lot of people won't like that choice, but if you take AV on him and then the next level you take Foul Appearance, suddenly you've got a line of scrimmage fodder that can reliably take some hits and avoid damage. Otherwise, who are you putting on the line? Probably 2 blank goblins or 2 rats, and maybe you lose them. So it's got Claw, Palm, and Claw Mighty Blow. Usually you build 1 blitzer with tackle, But in as much of a bash fest as REL can be, this is fine too. He can take tackle on that claw piece next if he wants, or he can make both of them have palm and just go claw palm, chaos style. Claw on the troll, so he's really going all in on kill. I prefer not to hit with my troll, so I prefer to take guard, but claw is absolutely the agreed upon correct choice. If you don't, you either go like claw into kill, like claw tentacles, or you go claw guard, or you go guard tentacles. But usually you either take claw first or you don't take it. Like, because either you want to kill things, so you take claw, or you want to leave your troll sitting there and you'll skip it and you'll take stuff like guard and stand firm and tentacles. Accurate on the thrower means that he's going to pass to some of these goblins, or perhaps his line rats. Nothing wrong with that. And I guess this goblin with movement 7 is good for one-turners too, if you throw him. 3-man bench is okay. I usually play 13, but 14 is a preference. He's playing a single thrower, so he's a little bit leaner. So same TV with that as basically as having a second thrower instead of two of these goblins. So nothing wrong with that. Going in on the kill. And he's playing Stinger Security. Where are they? There they are. 1640. Man, they have really picked up some stuff. Blodge Step, Agi 5, Blodge Step, Block Guard, Blodge, Guard, Kick, Block, Strength 4, Agi 5, Leader, Strength 4 Witch. That's terrifying. So he's got quite a bit of stat ups, quite a bit of guard on this team. This team may be out of the running this season, but they are well developed going into next season. So where is he? He's here at 2, 6, and 3. That's, oops, where's 5F? There's 5F. So that's unfortunate that he's so far down the leaderboard, but he is well developed going into next season. Where was he? So he probably wants to level cannon fodder next turn or next game and try and level Dodod or Ooh or whatever this guy is, number 2. He's on 26. 26 guy and the 4 guy can probably level next game if he tries hard enough. Versus Underworld, maybe he can, yeah. I think he can do that. That's not too much to ask. Let's look at a Yaya again. Yaya's had some violent games. So I think leveling Quick Hit seems out of reach. Leveling a Yaya is certainly within reach, but it depends on the troll behaving. If he gets a chance, you know, these two rats throwing passes to each other in the backfield to level feels good. And then he's got a couple goblins on 5. So he's got a lot of pieces that are about to level. He just needs to find opportunities. With that G3 team, that's not always easy, but to find opportunities to level them. Next up is Sylvania's Sukayants versus Ifield Dodge's Rebel. These are both ramp-up teams. So where are the Sukayants? There they are. Sylvanian Sukayants. Oh man, 1530. This TV went crazy. Block at G5, dodge movement. So you really want some stat ups on Vamps just to really bloat yourself out of control. He's got 5 of them and 4 rerolls. That's okay. He's got a leader thrall, kick. Yeah, this team is scary. If he gets block on the dodge Vamps and dodge on the block Vamps, it'll be really just frightening. You know. So this guy's like 3 points away from Blodge if he wants. That guy's probably going to level. I would think Duke, Damon, Rosario is going to level this game. Possibly, if you care, you can get Tanic, Goron, but you probably don't want to level Thralls. The other one who can level is Count Merrick Voris. So I would look for those two to level next game as sort of a bare minimum goal for development. That doesn't mean you have to hit it, but that would be my goal if I were him. I feel Dodge is Rebel. All right. 1, 2, 3. He's a little bit beat up. He's got a lot of blodge. Are these just MNGs or are they Niggles? Just an MNG. He'll be back next season, potentially. Oh, a niggle and an MNG. I don't know. Yeah, so the niggle's pre-existing. This guy has an MNG. Okay. So that's a lot of pieces out. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So add another 180. So he's really at like 1300 almost, 1280. But 2 witches. He's got a Wrestle or a Raj and a Blodge Step. Blodge Step is always good. And probably you can level Lothra F if you try. It sucks to be missing half your blitzers, but you've got 2 Blodge pieces, an Agi 5 dodge, and then a couple of utility pieces. So it might be a rough game, but they'll come back the next game. They'll come back. And it's funny that he says he fails dodges and then takes so much dodge. Like, maybe you should take a block if you fail all the dodges. Anyway. Mysoon Tice versus Delicious Elves we talked about. Sit versus Hollywood All-Stars. So Sit. Let's see if he's still got those strength up. He does. Both his strength up guys. Oh, took a niggle on this one. That sucks. But still a good piece with Russell. So he now has a Blodge strength 4 piece and a Blodge blitzer. That's really good. He has a block and an Agi 5 catcher. That's also really good. Picking up Russell on his other pieces. Painful to have to carry a couple niggles or a niggle and a move bust. And is this one a niggle or niggling injury? So he's carrying a couple injured players that are going to be kind of liabilities. Like, you still hold on to the strength up one because it's just too good a piece for sacking. You don't have to risk a blitzer on that. You don't have to risk your strength up blitzer. He can do other things. So this team came into the season with the 2 strength ups and nothing else, and he's got some good development on them. It's just unfortunate to see him taking and carrying a couple injuries, but that happens. And then Hollywood All Stars. This is Gretset's human team, I believe. Yep, or Gretseat. So he's done a bit of rebuilding since losing the Ogre, I believe. Strong arm, accurate catch or thrower. Still, just if you're going to pass, that's what you want. Only has 1 catcher, but it's a sidestep, diving catcher. So catches on Agi 4, catches inaccurate passes more easily, catches kickoffs more easily, punts. I don't think scattering balls. I don't think it works on scattered balls. Let's look. Pass, kickoff, or throw in. So not a bouncing ball, but catch, kickoff, and throw in. He gets kick piece is niggled injury. That's unfortunate, but he'll be all right. This piece is just an MNGs, which sucks because it's your tackle mighty blow, but he'll be unhurt and back next time. He then also has another mighty blow blitzer and a Blodge guard blitzer, which is good. Picked up guard on the Ogre, so he's getting that guard up there. He's recovered from a sort of a mid-season break. It sucks to have to recover from that in your first season because it puts you behind in the second half of the season, and it also puts you behind going into your second season, which is rough because some people just come out 1600. So if you come out at 12 or 1300, you got a little of an uphill battle, or you need to really know how to use inducements. But he's got 90. He could pick up another catcher if he wanted to really take advantage of Johnny Godep. So I think that's it for the teams. Again, the leaderboard is interesting at the top. You got 3 teams kind of vying for it. It all comes down to whether the Chorfs can pull an upset on the White Walkers. So if you are the KS Canadians with K Bobby down here, and it looks like you've been having kind of a rough season, this is your chance to be a true Chorf coach and ruin the world for somebody. You can ruin the game, ruin the day, and just completely annihilate the season of somebody if you show up and put your Chorf hat on. And remember, Chorfs have the best hats. They have the biggest, bestest hats ever. So if you put on your chore hat and you show up for this game, you can sucker punch him in the face and take away his playoffs. And I know you're not supposed to play out of spite, but you're a chore player, so probably that's your whole reason for being. And then if you're rock and roll rats and bony boys, you want to win by as many points as possible to put yourself in position in case the right losses happen. Because neither of them have their destiny in their hands. I don't even know if there's a Challenger Cup spot in Div 5. I don't know. I haven't been paying enough attention, and the format changes often enough that I don't know. But if the right losses happen, you want to be ready to take advantage of them. So both of those teams, you really want to win as the Rock and Roll Rats and the Bony Boys. So if you're Talk Show Terror or Mice Who Entice, I believe, who they're playing, right? You have Talk Show Terror and Gur Patrol. If you're Gur Patrol and Talk Show Terror, you really want to show up. And you can also pull an upset. So those 6 teams, the White Walkers, the Chaos Canadians, the Rock and Roll Rats, Talk Show Terror, Bony Boys, and Gur Patrol, you 6 are going to determine the playoffs for this division. And there's a lot of crazy stuff that can happen. But it's really between the White Walkers, the Rock and Roll Rats, and the Bony Boys. And props on a first season Khemri team being so high up the leaderboard with the likes of such low tier teams as Skaven and Undead, and being right there in the running with the first season Khemri team. Like, having started trying to play Khemri, I can't even get through one game without just utterly ruining it for myself. Like, I just can't do it. They're so hard to play. So props on you, Elsad, for what you've managed to pull off. And I don't want to take away from Melty and Frost. You guys have put in seasons also and been consistent. Like all of the top, what is that? Like the top 6 teams all have winning records right now, right? And it's only when you get down to Kislev, who are notoriously hard to start, that you have someone without a winning record right now. And they could have a winning record if they beat Ayaya in this last game. They could still have a 4-5-4, like even to winning record as the top 7 teams. That's pretty amazing. So props to all you guys. You did good job with development, good job playing. And this is really a competitive division. I don't know how many divisions are this competitive at the end, where it comes down to 3 games where only one person has their destiny in their hand, but the other 2 are well poised to take it. There's some other good teams that have built up over this first season, and it'll be a really good run if they bring them hard into next season. You got some 1,600 and 1,500 teams coming out of here with a good development. That's a good base for next season. So this is Goblin Marine. I apologize for only getting like the first half of the season covered here. I had a kind of bad season playing in REL and became uninterested and got busy, and just a whole bunch of stupid stuff came up, and I meant to get to it, but the excuses are like assholes. Everyone has one, and most of them stink, and they're not worth anything. But you guys have made this a great division, and the games that I did watch, the parts of the season that I tried to follow closely, you guys made it exciting and interesting. So I will probably be back next week if I can. No, I may not, but I will try my best. I've got a busy week here. I'll try my best to be back next week, and to have watched some of the last games to talk about what happened and the stories, and hopefully there's some drama to talk about, but maybe there's not. Anyway, this is Goblin Rain signing off.